Today I'm going to go over how to buy used camera equipment on eBay and not get ripped off. And this is something that I have had to sort of get used to and learn over the past couple of years, mainly because I have an addiction to buying camera gear and camera lenses, and I could not afford to buy all the gear that I have new. So I have learned to buy used camera gear and kind of know the ins and outs of how not to get ripped off and make sure that you actually get a good deal. And I decided to do it today because I have a big package here full of a number of lenses, a camera body, a flash, battery charger that I recently bought, and I'm going to sort of go over everything in there and have a good look at it with you and kind of tell you, or at least go over what you need to look for when you receive it. But first of all, when you're going to buy something on eBay, you want to make sure that you're paying with PayPal. That gives you some security if you get a defective product, and I've never had a problem returning something when I bought with PayPal, so I would say that's number one. Always make sure that when you are looking at the item, look at the photos in detail, but some people are terrible at taking photos, and in those cases, sometimes those lenses or items don't display very well and they actually go for a lower price. So try to be discerning whether there's actually a problem with the lens, or there is damage to the camera body or equipment you're looking at, or if they're just bad pictures, because often bad pictures means a cheaper ending sale price. The next thing you want to look at is, obviously you want to read the description in detail, and I know this seems like common sense, but it is quite easy to just flip through the pictures and go, oh yeah, that looks great, and go place a bid, and then you go read down below that it doesn't come with a power adapter, or if it's been dropped, or it's defective, or it's good for parts, and that's why it's so cheap. So make sure you read all that, and when you do that, there are two different sections or separate sections that you can look at. One is the description of the item, but there's also a section which describes the condition of the item separately. Now, generally people put their description of the condition of the item in the item description, but make sure you go into the item condition section, which says new, used, and then it can have further details on the condition of the item, because that eBay does encourage people to use that, but most people don't use it, so we don't get used to checking that. So make sure you check that. The other thing you want to do to make sure that you are getting a good price when you're buying is whatever lens or camera body or equipment that you're looking at, go into a search for it, and then go in the adjust search preferences and look for completed listings. And that will show the item that you're looking for and give you the previous selling prices on that item. That helps give you a target of what you think you should be paying. And I generally do that, work out what a fair price is, and if I really want the item, I just work out, well, I'm going to have to pay the fair price, and this is the market. If it's something that I'm not really keen on, or I don't need it straight away, I will just buy my time and just kind of watch the auctions, and look and see if I can grab a deal, something that is at or below the average selling price that I'm seeing out there. And the good thing about this stuff is, if you buy the item right, it's in good condition, you go over the item and make sure that it's all working, you will likely be able to use this for months, maybe even years, and then later, when you're not interested in it anymore, put it back online. And if you bought right, you will often either get all your money back or even make money at times. I would say a huge percentage of the lenses that have come through here and I have later sold, I can't think of one that I've ever lost money on. So I almost looking at buying used lenses as depositing money somewhere that I'm not going to be able to use that $200 or $700 for the next 6 months to a year. But at some point, if I really need to, I can put the item back on eBay or up on Craigslist or something else, and then I can draw that money back out. So when I'm buying used equipment, I kind of think of it as setting some money aside for a while that I can then get back later if I need to. All right, now let's open this package and we will have a look at what's inside. I'll show you what I do to check the condition. All right, this third-party battery charger. A couple of third-party batteries. That is the EF-M 55-200 zoom lens. That looks like it's the adapter for the EF-M to EF adapter. That's the tripod mount. That is the EVF, Canon, was it EVF DC-1? This is one of the old 75-300 zoom lenses. Got a UV filter on it. I really don't need that, but I probably will be able to sell that for, I don't know, 100, 150 bucks maybe. Flash, 430EX2. It's a charger cable. The 18-55 EF-M 18-55 lens. That is the Canon M3 body. And there is the EF to EFS or EF to EF-M adapter with a 50mm Nifty 50, 51.8. Is it the STM version or the old version? No, it's the STM version, so that is the newer version. That's good. And that is the EF-M 11-22mm, which is actually the reason that I bought this whole kit. Really, I only wanted this lens out of it, and I think that by selling all the rest of the gear that I've got in this kit, I will probably end up with this 11-22 for free. I did have a copy of this lens in the past, and it was soft. It just didn't produce a very good image, so I thought I would try another one. Now, always have a good look through the box, make sure there is nothing else left behind, a battery, a manual, anything that you might need. All right. Set that aside and let's get all the gear here on the table. Now, the first thing that we generally want to do is we take the lens and we take our little flashlight on our phone and we just go through and we just look for any damage to the lens itself or any fungus. You can see these surfaces are dirty, but they don't seem to be scratched. And sometimes you will have a little wear and tear on the lenses, and that's just par for the course. As long as you think that you've bought them at the right price, then I don't worry about that too much. And yeah, I'll go through all of these, take them off. If they have a filter on, you need to take the filter off. And you just want to take the little flashlight, see if you see any fungus or any scratches. I'm seeing a little dust, but I would say that's about it. And this one looks like it's been used a bit. You can see some markings on the side, so it does have some marks on it. And I do have another copy of this lens. This is the 55-200, and often I will keep the copies that are roughed up on this outside for myself, because this, if I was going to resell it, might only bring $150-200, but I have a mint condition copy that I can sell, and I think I probably would get $300 for it. So I will often keep the more beat up copies just for myself, because I don't really care what they look like as long as the image quality is good. And then after this, the next thing you're going to want to do is obviously you're going to hook it up to your camera. You want to test it in photo and video. You want to test it with autofocus. You want to test it in manual focus by turning your focus ring just to see if that coupling is still working. The batteries, obviously you're going to charge those up, give them a run, see if they work. At the same time, you'll be seeing if your battery charger works. The flash, put some new batteries in it, test that, see how that works. And of course the EVF will do the same thing, just put that on the camera, see if that works. So just to check that absolutely everything's working and make sure that cosmetically it all looks like it did in the photos and as described. And then what I'm actually doing with this kit is I really had only intended to keep this 11-22 from the whole thing. So if this is a good sharp lens and I'm happy with it, I will set that aside, and for the price that I paid for the entire kit, I should be able to sell the rest of the remaining lenses and recover my entire cost, thereby giving me the lens I wanted for free. And you can do this in most cases if someone sells a batch of gear like this. If you buy it right, you can almost always sell everything and get one lens for free. And I would suggest that 50% of the lenses I've owned, I've acquired that way, and I actually have no money in them whatsoever. I will also mention that I have never been dudded in a situation where I got a bad lens or not as described and I couldn't return it with PayPal. And I think that has happened to me only once, that I've actually had to return a lens, and I probably would have acquired 50 plus lenses over the last couple of years, only a handful of which I actually end up keeping in the same way that I'm keeping the one lens from this kit. Alright, I hope that quick little video was helpful. If you have any questions about buying used stuff on eBay or getting burned, or questions about stuff you bought, just let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to help. Thanks for watching. Stay creative.